Welcome to the Joy of Cruising podcast with your host, award-winning author Paul C. Thornton, a weekly conversation with the amazing cruisers featured in the Joy of Cruising books, comprised of The Joy of Cruising, Cruising Interrupted, new release, The Joy of Cruising Again, as well as other fun, informative global cruise personalities. It's the next best thing to cruising, hearing about cruising from the unique and diverse perspectives of Paul's amazing guests. If you hear about a cruise that interests you, book it at www.thejoyofvacation.com or enter to win a free cruise for two. Again, www.thejoyofvacation.com. We really appreciate your feedback, so leave us a text. Paul can't reply, but he may read your text on the air.
Hello, passionate cruisers. This is Paul, and I am delighted to welcome this week on the Joy of Cruising podcast, Laura Pedlar and Craig Shaw of Cruise Lifestyle Blog. Those of you familiar with my second cruising book, Cruising Interrupted, know that I featured Laura and Cruise Lifestyle in a section called Bloggers Cruise Community Champion. Laura also came on the Joy Cruising podcast, episode 46, over a year ago, and I am glad to talk to her again, along with Craig. I was reminded that it was time to invite Laura back to the podcast when I saw a social media post that she and Craig were on Celebrity Ascent. I tried to get them on the podcast in advance of my own cruise on Celebrity Ascent, get me excited about what I was in for, but I couldn't work out the dates. So now we'll just compare experiences and also catch up on what's new with Laura, Craig, and Cruise Lifestyle. Welcome back, Laura, and welcome, Craig, to the Joy of Cruising podcast.
Hello, you all right?
Hi, Paul.
Good to be here.
So how you both doing?
Yeah, we're good apart from the weather today. I've got horrendous 70-mile-an-hour winds.
How is it cold? Real cold yet?
No, I wouldn't say it was too cold. Not down here in Cornwall. We're probably averaging around about between 8 and 13 degrees. So it's not too bad.
So let's see.
Centigrade.
What's that Fahrenheit?
So 13 is 26, 36, 40, 56.
Oh, so you're better than we are.
Oh, yeah. Really?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. I'm in North Carolina, and I tell you, the mornings have been, one morning it was 26 Fahrenheit.
Really?
And I think this morning is I haven't looked at the temperature, but I'm guessing it's around 40. So there's a chill in the air. Before we discuss cruise lifestyle, each of you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you live, what's your background, anything you would be willing to share.
Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like a revisit, isn't it? So I'm Laura. I live with Craig in Cornwall, like we just mentioned, which is the southwest of England. Lots of nice coastline and beaches and things, but we've actually lived together for quite a while now, haven't we? We've been together for 20 years.
20 years. 21 next year.
Yeah. So we met when Craig moved down, didn't you?
Yeah, which was 20 years ago. So we met quite early on, really, didn't we?
When you moved down, not long after.
That's right. And then I think we've lived together probably around about 18 and a half, maybe 19 years. So very quick.
We haven't killed each other yet.
Well, you haven't killed me.
Now, how close are you? I judge everything by pretty much the only thing I know in UK. How close are you to London or Southampton?
Oh, okay. So we're
about 4 hours.
We're about
drive
4 hours drive from London. Really, we could do London in 4 hours.
Yeah,
I did it to our Pally.
Yeah. So it's not that close, but yeah, and Southampton is probably about 3.5 hours drive.
So mileage is probably around to London's probably around about 150 miles. It's about right, isn't it?
I haven't got a clue.
Well, I'll tell you what, you carry on chatting to Paul. I'll find out exactly well, and then you can do that.
Well, the only reason I asked is I had a cruise booked for a year from now, next
Okay.
December, and it leaves out of
Yeah.
Southampton, and because we haven't done UK, that we were going to spend a couple of days in London and then go down to Southampton. It was supposed to go up to the fjords.
Lovely.
So yeah, I say it was supposed to. I'm sure it's still going to the fjords, but we probably are not. So due to some circumstances, we probably are not going to go on that cruise in 25. But I definitely have the fjords on my bucket list and London and
Yeah.
Southampton on my bucket list. So we'll probably get there in 26. So Craig, introduce yourself.
I'm Craig. I've been down in Cornwall for 20 years, as I said, and I'm originally from a place called Oldham, which is just outside Manchester. So I moved down here 20 years ago because I just met a lot of my family were down here. So I just kind of guess I wanted to be closer, and yeah, that were it. And I met Laura, and we've had some fantastic times together. I'm a tiler. So that's ceramic wall and floor tiling. I've been doing that now. This is my next year will be my 40th year self-employed. So yeah, I've done quite well, really.
Now, let me ask a question, Craig. I've known Laura a while, and I know she's been a cruise fanatic a while. Were you into cruising before you met Laura? No.
No,
Okay.
no, I wasn't. It wasn't really something I'd even thought about, to be honest. And it was just, I mean, I knew Laura had actually done a couple as a little girl, but we obviously decided to do a cruise. I don't even really know how it came about, why we decided to do it, really.
Well, we'd seen a good
We
package.
did, and that was the original one we saw was including Los Angeles, wasn't it? And we changed that. But yeah, it was 2015 and we did it. And I think I was 49 at the time. So we basically did it for my 50th. That's what it all,
Yeah.
for my 50th birthday.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
All right.
it
All
was.
right. So well, yeah, we'll talk some more about that when we get to your cruising background in a minute. Talk about cruise lifestyle. How's the brand going? What's new?
So yeah, it's going well. I think I am naturally just looking to do maybe more videos now, just because the things that we've been and seen and done and stuff. I think it works really well with videos. So in the next few months, that's what I'm going to be concentrating on. So lots of YouTube videos will be coming out about Celebrity Ascent, which was the last cruise that we went on. And the other thing that I suppose me and Craig do together is the Facebook group that we started just over a year ago.
Yeah.
And I think, Paul, you were
That's the Princess Dining
yes,
one, right?
yeah, you're a member of it, aren't you? Yes. So it's Princess Cruises Dining, Food and Drinks, and it was funny because at the beginning of December, I just looked at a memory that had come up saying that we were really happy that the group had grown to 3,000 members. And I had a quick check on the group and it was up to 33,000 members.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously food on Princess Cruises is a very popular topic and everyone wants to find out about it. So it's been
done really well, actually, hasn't it?
and the good thing is that people are always like going on Princess Cruises, so they are able to share exactly what they've been eating, and so everyone gets really up to date information, which is really handy for everyone.
Yeah, that reminds me. That's timely because on Monday, now I say Monday, we're doing this interview in December, but your show doesn't air until January. But on Monday in December, Chef Rudy is going to be back on. So
I remember listening to your previous one with him. That was really interesting.
Yeah, so in the previous one, I recalled that I asked your group, give me a question to ask Chef Rudy, and so I did. I think you did. You gave me the question, and I did ask him, and I did mention the group when I recorded the podcast. But the one on Monday, it's already recorded, so I don't think I mentioned the group this time. But so good. That's good to hear. You're broadening your YouTube presence. How's your weekly gathering on Twitter going, which I think
Yeah,
might be how I met you.
it was.
Tell the
Yeah.
crowd a little bit. Tell the listeners a little bit about that.
So Cruise Hour was something that I started quite a while ago, and this year, this summer just gone, it was 5 years since starting it. So it's been going weekly. Cruise Hour is an hour on a Tuesday evening, well, UK evening, and it's a chance for people who love cruising to talk about different topics. So we have a different topic every week, and I pose 5 questions, and everyone gets involved and chats. So it's a really nice group. I think Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, is becoming less popular. The only thing that kind of keeps me on that platform is the fact that we've got Cruise Hour on there, and there's just so many lovely people. Actually, it's a nice part of Twitter, I would say, because there's not some nice people that I chat to every week.
You ever consider maybe, I don't even know if this is a thing, can you cast it on different platforms?
Possibly, yeah.
Does that make any sense? Do you understand what I'm asking?
Yeah. So going out on different platforms, so that if people aren't on Twitter, they could do. Yeah. I mean, I'm frantically for that hour. Well, it's not even a cruise hour anymore. It's like a cruise hour and a half. Because
it's actually nearly a cruise hour 2 hours.
2 hours.
Because I can usually watch a film while you're doing that.
But yeah, I'm frantically like replying to people and joining in the conversation on Twitter. So I don't know whether I could manage more than one platform at a time. It might have to be staggered throughout the week to be able to really participate properly. But
I think what you actually struggle with really is your topics on a Tuesday, isn't it? Because you've been doing it that long now.
Yeah.
It's like how what other things can you come up with?
That's the biggest challenge.
I know it's been a little bit repetitive, but some things you can repeat on, can't you? You know, destinations, food. Food's always a big one, isn't it?
Yes, everyone likes to talk about food.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a theme.
Well, I rarely participate. I always read them after the fact.
Yeah.
But it's rare that my timing is right. And I'm just not, I can't regulate my life enough to say on Tuesday at this time, I'm going to do this. I'm just like, I'm going 1,000 miles an hour. And so
we've met people who have said that they actually set a timer, like an alarm on their phone. That tells them so that they don't forget.
What time is it where you are then, Paul?
Right now, it's a little bit after noon.
Okay.
So I think we're 5 hours.
5 hours difference then, yeah.
Yeah. So what I find myself doing with Cruise Hour is a lot of times I'll just see a question that I would love to answer. I might have a photo. I love putting out a cruise photo of me and my granddaughter, for instance. And so I'll see a question, and it'll be 24 hours old, and I'll be mad that I missed it, but I'll still respond to it.
Yeah.
I
do actually like looking at a lot of your pictures on your cruises. There's some with your lovely family. That's really nice.
Well, thank you. So give us the highlights of your cruising since we last spoke.
Okay.
And hold off on Celebrity Ascent because that was your last cruise.
And it was yours.
That was my last cruise. So we'll kind of compare notes separately on that. But just catch us up to what's been going on.
Yeah. So I think on the last time we chatted, I talked about going on P&O Arvia, and I think you spotted a photo of me kind of like climbing a high wire, didn't you? Like high ropes course.
Yep.
Yeah. And then after that, we went on Celebrity Edge around Europe. That was really nice. That was only a week though. Yeah. And at that point, I think we decided that we wanted to do more of Celebrity and Celebrity Edge class. So we very, very quickly booked Celebrity Ascent for this year. But at the beginning...
Let me stop you there. Contrast a Celebrity Edge with Celebrity Ascent, which is in the same class. I haven't been on Edge.
Yeah, so Edge was the first, so essentially the oldest celebrity Edge class ship, and Ascent is at the moment the newest, but
yeah.
XL is going to be coming out very soon. So
Differences?
very much the same layout. There were subtle differences, wasn't there? The Grand Plaza atrium was slightly differently set out, wasn't it, with the martini bar being in a different coat?
Yeah, that which I think it was better on Ascent.
Yes,
Definitely the
and I think they probably found and learnt the places that people like spending the most amount of time. So they've
Sunset Bar.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So they've expanded that and made it really nice, with like loads more comfy seating and things. It was kind of just hidden at the back on Edge, but they've really made it a better venue and a bigger venue, haven't they?
Yeah.
I would say they have definitely looked at what has worked on Edge and the maybe the ones that were subsequently after that and improved every time. I think that in terms of Beyond, of what I've seen of Beyond and Ascent, I don't think there's much difference between those ships.
Oh, really?
They're very similar.
They are. I've been on both.
Yeah.
And they are absolutely identical.
One thing I would say is that Celebrity Edge, I think I was particularly impressed with the food. I was also impressed on Ascent, but I think that,
probably because it was the first time on Celebrity, and you kept trying to compare it with other cruise companies.
But it was there was nothing that we didn't like on Edge either, though, was there?
No, that's why we went back.
So it was good to compare.
So I had on the show the CEO of Celebrity. She was the CEO, former CEO. She was the CEO when the Edge class was launched, and so I nailed her down. I didn't say nailed her down. I pinned her down on what's her favorite ship of all time. I mean, she's been like high-level positions at Royal and high-level positions at Celebrity and so on, but she picked the Celebrity Beyond. So I take great pride in that, because that's my favorite ship, or it was my favorite ship leading to the Ascent. I was thinking Ascent might surpass it, so I'll tell you if it did or not. So what anything else did you do?
So then, so in at the beginning of this year, I think it was February, March, wasn't it? We were invited to go to Paris, and we went via Eurostar, which we'd never done.
Yeah.
So that was an experience in itself. We went on the Eurostar from London to Paris, and we stayed.
What's Eurostar?
Eurostar's the Channel Tunnel, so it's the underground train that links London to Paris. So you can actually
London to France, and then obviously it's amazing.
Yeah, that's interesting. And
so we have quite a bit in common since we last spoke, because as we've mentioned, we both went on Ascent, and we both went to Paris.
I know. I was looking at your photos afterwards and looking in envy, really, because actually the next coincidence is that when we got to Paris, we stayed on a river ship, and that's how you visited Paris, isn't it?
Yeah. So was that your first time, each of you? Was that your first time to Paris?
No.
No, okay.
No,
I wouldn't think so, because you
I was younger.
almost tried there.
But you can, and to be fair, now the Eurotunnel's here, I think it is easy.
So the Eurotunnel's
driven around Paris, haven't you?
I have actually driven around Paris.
Brave.
I've driven around near the Champs-Elysees. So that was many years ago.
So the Eurotunnel's a train, right? Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
And it just goes underground. It literally is under the water.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That was my first time to Paris. So what was the highlights of your Paris trip?
So it was we were invited by Riviera Travel. They have river ships, and it was their 40th year celebration, and so we were able to stay on one of their river ships, and probably one of the highlights was seeing the Eiffel Tower at night.
Yeah,
and it glitters in the night, which was really cool to see.
Yeah, we
wasn't
was
it?
docked relatively close. Wasn't
Yeah,
it,
so
really?
they just sailed up a little bit up the Seine, and we saw the Eiffel Tower all glittering.
Did you go up the Eiffel Tower?
Not this time.
Not that time, no. No, we have done, but in the past, but not that time.
Did you, Paul?
Yeah. We went to the top, and I mean, I had a great time in Paris, but Eiffel Tower was the highlight for me.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know,
It's iconic, isn't it?
Yeah. And I learned a lot. You know, every time I go on a cruise or I go on a tour, and you know, they give you some factoids. You know, it makes me want to do some research or read a book about the topic. So I think I want to now read a book about the you know, the history and the building of the Eiffel Tower, because you know, I just didn't. It was built as a temporary structure.
It was, yeah.
It's the World Fair, wasn't it?
Mm.
That it was built for you?
Yeah, for the Paris World's Fair in 18 something, and initially it didn't have an elevator to go to the top, and the guy who built it, I don't know why he did this, but he had his office on the 10th story, and that office was put there before the elevator came. So he would walk up every day. So we walked up to the 10th story. It was just a lot of. I felt like a school kid, you know. I just wanted to, you know, in social
Interesting
studies
stuff.
class. Yeah. So, did you guys? How long did you stay in Paris?
Oh, it's only 2 nights because
Yeah.
it was a celebration. So we basically spent 98% of it on the actual ship, didn't we?
Yeah, we did go out to a
Cafe.
like a bistro, didn't we? And that
Yeah.
was really nice.
Yeah.
Nice food.
Yeah.
Bit of French cuisine.
Yeah.
And then we went to a I don't know if you came
It's
across
that
it.
museum, didn't we? The lights. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I
so it
forgot
was like
about
an
that.
immersive experience where it was very, very dark, but there was things all projected onto the walls, almost like an installation. So yeah, that
Yeah,
was
where was this?
somewhere in Paris. I don't
Don't
know.
know.
We were taken
Oh,
there.
Oh, okay. All right. What was next?
And then in April, we went to Croatia on a cruise. So we did an intensive Croatia cruise. That was with Azamara.
Azamara.
Yeah.
Was that your first time on Azamara?
Yeah.
It was, and it's the smallest ship we've been on. It was 720 passengers,
Yeah.
something like that. So yeah, a lot smaller than.
Well, the river cruise was
True. Yes.
smaller.
Yeah. I didn't think of the
Yeah.
But ocean.
Ocean. Yeah. So
Yeah.
So we coincided it with a few nights in Venice, which we've never been to Venice before. I've wanted to go for ages, and the cruise started in Venice and went down the coast of Croatia and back. So we went for, was it 3 nights in Venice?
Yeah,
And then then we
7
got
nights.
on the ship. So we doubled up, and
Wow, that sounds like a lovely trip. I really enjoyed Venice the one time that I was there. In fact, enjoyed it so much. You know, we were staying somewhere in Italy, the countryside, a really nice but rural part of Italy, and Italy has such a great train system.
does.
So we ended up taking the train to Venice, and we were into it so much that we missed our train back. So we got back, but yeah, Venice, I loved Venice.
yeah, we really enjoyed
Yeah,
that,
it
didn't
was
we?
very nice,
We
yeah.
quite like, whenever we do a cruise, we do quite like to try and go in a few days early, don't
of
we?
course,
Because then
yeah.
at least we can explore the place that we're starting from, because it's usually some quite nice places that you
Yeah,
end up
definitely.
starting in, like Rome, or we've done San Francisco at the end of a cruise before, and spent a few
We
days
did
there.
Vegas before the
Yeah,
cruise.
yeah. So it's good to tag it on, isn't it? Extends the holiday a little bit as well, the vacation.
something I'd like to do. I've been to Vegas many times, but I'd love to get back to Vegas. But I'd like to somehow do that with an excursion on a cruise. Because I want to see that new attraction in the Sphere.
We'll be right back.
The Joy of Cruising podcast guests receive a gift sponsored by GigSky of a 3 gigabyte cruise plus land data package valued at $60. Relying on ship Wi-Fi is slow, unsecure, and sometimes not available. And at foreign ports, travelers don't want to pay their carriers high fees. GigSky provides a solution that will save them a significant amount of money. To get your own data package usable on the ship or in ports, here is my link to GigSky. https://gigsky.pxf.io/NLOXOR. This can be found in the show notes below. For a 10% discount, use the code Joy of Cruising.
Yeah. Well, my son went
Last year.
last year, and they actually went in the Sphere and watched the show, and it's amazing. And your mum and dad just went a few months ago.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
didn't go in the Sphere though, but yeah, I'd like to go back, Paul.
Yeah. So with our very first cruise, our very first cruise together started in Vegas, didn't
Yeah.
it? So I said to you earlier in the conversation, Paul, that what attracted us to it was the package. So it was flying to Las Vegas, staying there for a couple of nights, and then flying on to San Francisco, and then getting on a ship and going to Hawaii.
Oh wow! What a package!
Yeah, and then ending up in San Francisco and doing another few nights there.
Yeah.
So it was like a dream kind
Yeah,
of holiday
it
all
was.
packaged
It
into
was.
one, wasn't it? That attracted us.
Yeah, my daughter and son-in-law just celebrated their 10th anniversary, so they're going to they're going to Vegas on the day after Christmas.
Nice.
So I'm not even sure if they're familiar with the Sphere. So I'll make sure that I tell them about it, because apparently you can go inside to just see they say it's the best place in the world to experience a music concert.
Okay, yeah.
But you can go in even when there's not a concert scheduled, because there's just other things that they do, shows that they do
Yeah.
that not live entertainment. So, but yeah, I really want to check that out. So, anything else? That brings us to Celebrity Asset, right?
Yeah, that does, doesn't it? Yeah. So the Croatia one was April, and then we spent the summer at home and
Yeah.
went off on Ascent in September.
Yeah. So talk about Ascent.
Okay, so we went into Rome like 2 nights. 2 nights, was it early? Yeah, 2 nights early. We went with friends this time. They'd never experienced celebrity before. They'd been on cruises with us before with P&O and Princess. And so they came on with us this time, and we spent 2 days in Rome, and then we boarded Ascent, and it went around some Greek islands, which were really, really pretty, especially Mykonos. Mykonos was a really pretty island, wasn't it? We would love to go back there. We also Rhodes and Santorini.
Yeah.
Santorini took a bit of planning and getting up early, because notoriously it's got huge queues and it's very difficult to get around. But yeah, we enjoyed it. And it went to Turkey. So it went to Kusadasi in Turkey. And on that day we went to Ephesus, which is the ancient city. And then it finally made its way to Malta before we disembarked in Barcelona.
Yeah, Malta's very British, Paul.
It's considered part of UK, right?
Yeah, it's very British. Telephone boxes, post boxes. It's quite interesting, really. Very nice, actually. I quite enjoyed Malta.
Yeah,
for the time we were there,
it.
it was lovely.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, I had a Greek Isles cruise scheduled. It was on the Princess Sun, but then I kept pushing it back because I kept waiting. You've heard about this Area 19 or Deck Night or whatever. It's a part of Prince's Son that they
Park, is it Park 19? Is it? Yeah.
Park 19. Yeah, they built
Yeah.
it up. They built it up, but they never opened it because of some
Yeah.
issues. I don't know, safety concerns maybe. And so they're gonna redo it. And so I pushed it back, thinking I would go on go on it when Park 19's ready. Now the next iteration in that class is coming out, so I'm just gonna wait and go on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Why not?
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I canceled Sun Princess, but that trip had a similar itinerary as yours did, because Walter was on there.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
So was the captain Tasso?
Well, we had two.
We had the brothers.
Yeah, they were both
The
on.
brothers. Okay. Yeah. So
yeah.
we had one of them. He was very good. He came to one of the shows. I mean, he was like a stand-up comedian. He obviously had.
Yes, he is.
They're really
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, very funny.
Yeah. He obviously had good right. You know, he that couldn't have come just from him, because I don't know if it did. He missed his calling. I mean, you know, being a ship captain's pretty great, but he could have been a comedian because he was very.
Yeah, we said exactly the same.
Came across very well. One has just got married. And so
He got off, didn't he?
he was at the beginning of our cruise, he was off on his honeymoon, and his brother was in charge. And then he came back from his honeymoon and took over. So yeah, we had half of the cruise was one captain and half of the cruise was the other. But they're both both.
How'd you like the celebrity ascent
We loved
inside?
it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love the Edge. However, the Ascent actually just was much better in my eyes. But no, there's no. I mean, like Laura said, there's different. The areas have just been slightly improved and
Tweaked, haven't they? Yeah.
tweaked. But I had no problems with Edge, none whatsoever. But Ascent was beautiful shit, absolutely stunning. Loved it.
Yeah. We liked no, I was going to say we liked all the food, but I'm guessing that's probably the question you were going to ask next, was it?
Why does it always
Always
come
back
back to food, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure was. Yeah. So did you do any specialty restaurants?
We did.
Which
Yeah,
ones?
yeah, we did. We did. Well, we did quite a few. So we booked a couple before the cruise, and then we'd ended up with loads of onboard credit. So when we were on board, we decided to book some more. So we went to Le Petit Chef again. Yeah, we did that one because our friends hadn't experienced that.
Yeah, to be honest, we wouldn't have probably done that, Laura, would we? Again,
Possibly not. I
If
mean,
we'd have, but it was just that friends were with us, and we wanted them to experience what we'd experienced on Edge.
yeah. So the animation is so clever, and one thing I would say about Le Petit Chef is that it can seem a bit gimmicky, but actually the food
It's very good.
is very good as well.
Yeah.
So I kind of when I first experienced it, I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to go along for the experience, and the food is probably going to be okay, but the main feature of it is going to be the animation. But actually, the food was equally as good, I would say. So yeah, we did the Petit Chef again, and we did Eden again.
Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't as keen.
I
were
weren't as
you?
impressed
No.
this time, no, but I was. It was very nice on Edge.
We did the steakhouse.
Very nice steak.
Yeah, we went to the rooftop garden grill.
No, yeah, because
very nice.
we'd heard mixed reports of that when we was on Edge.
Yeah,
So, but I'm a firm believer that my taste is totally different to your taste, Paul. So you can't always go off these reviews. So we decided to do it.
Yeah, give it a try.
And it was on Ascent, and it was absolutely stunning. It was the nicest burger. I only had a burger. Well, when I say only had a burger, it was a mile high. But it was the best burger I've ever had, ever.
And then we went to Raw on 5 for lunch one day.
Twice.
Because I'll get into that. So we went to Raw on 5 for lunch one day and loved it so much that actually we turned up one night and said, "Have you got any tables?" And they squeezed us in, didn't they?
Yeah, it was lovely.
So yeah, we like sushi, so that was what we enjoyed there.
I have said that food on the edge class is the best at sea. Now, I thought the food on Virgin was great. It's hard I would say the food on edge class is the best at sea where you have to pay for it, because
Right.
Virgin you don't
Yeah.
pay extra. But even I thought even the complimentary food was great. For instance, I'm not a big buffet person. I used to be, but that changed after the pandemic. And so now
Right.
I
Yeah.
have done cruises where I haven't even gone in the buffet since the pandemic. But the buffet on Celebrity is just so good.
Oh, exceptional.
I agree.
It is just, and then the main dining rooms, which I have very loudly proclaimed that main dining rooms have declined since the shutdown. Not at Celebrity. Their main dining rooms are great, and I have this thing about I have a cruise ship tradition for escargot, and they offer escargot as a starter, a
Yeah.
featured
Every
starter
night. Yeah, I
every
noticed
night.
that. Yeah.
So yeah, I went to the main dining room 5 times, and 5 times
Yeah.
I had escargot.
It's I never actually had it, but I've had it on Princess. I
Yeah.
do like it, but for some reason I never tried it on Celebrity.
So and the
There's so
notion.
much choice,
Yeah,
isn't there?
the notion that each of their main dining rooms is kind of themed, like the Tuscan is the main dining
Yeah.
room, and that's Italian, and was it Cyprus?
Cyprus is the
Yeah,
Mediterranean.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
and
you've
then
got Cosmopolitan.
right, that's like American, and then
Mm.
Normandy is sort of a French,
French.
and even if you don't really like any of those cuisines specifically, they offer standard stuff that you can get
Yeah.
anywhere. So I just thought
Steak. Yeah.
I thought the complimentary food was great on both Beyond and Ascent. Now I know they don't have this on the Edge. Did you didn't go to Le Voyage?
No, we didn't. And
However,
but we are going to on our next cruise. We already have that one booked.
Yeah, our meal at Le Voyage, we went to Le Voyage on Beyond. We didn't go on the Ascent. But I have said, and this is a strong statement, but I have said that meal at Le Voyage was the best meal I ever had
oh, that's interesting.
anywhere.
Oh, good.
Anywhere,
That's
So
good. That's
good to hear.
That's good to hear.
yeah. So this time we didn't go back. We went to Eden again. We had gone to Eden the first time as well. In fact, when we went to Eden on Beyond, we went there before Le Voyage, and I really had decided that Eden was the best meal I ever had at sea. And then we went to Le Voyage, and that surpassed it. So,
Oh, wow. This is very interesting,
Yeah.
isn't it? That's great to
Sounds
know.
good.
so it sounds like you're going to go back on Edge class.
We are, yeah. We're already booked.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk about that when we talk about the future. Anything else about Celebrity Ascent before we move on?
We really liked some of the entertainment that was on. We watched a few shows in the theatre.
Who'd you see? Because our entertainment, well, what I saw was great.
Well, I think we saw the same. We saw one of the guys that was on yours as well. So we watched Magical Bones.
Yes. Yeah. He was great.
Yeah.
He was great, and
he was.
I took a photo with him, and I'd love for him to tell his story, to the listeners. I mean, it's pretty rare to have a black man who grew up in UK in the hip hop era, and he's like a hip hop magician.
Yeah,
I've never
exactly,
seen a hip hop magician,
No.
but he was really, really good.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
very enjoyable.
he was good. So we watched him, and we watched. Well, I watched. You didn't, did you?
No.
Some tenors. I don't know. I can't remember what they were called. There was four of them. It wasn't the four tenors,
No.
but they were very good.
No.
And we also watched one of the celebrity shows called Awaken. So that was very good.
That was good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, very impressive.
So you didn't have Patrice Covington.
No.
Yeah, so she was the headliner or a headliner on a set, and I had never heard of her. Unbelievable. And in fact, I started Googling her or Wikipediaing her. Is that a word? But anyway,
It is now.
I started doing that while I was watching the show because I was just spellbound. And it turns out she has like a really heavy duty resume. You know, she sang background for Stevie Wonder, Jennifer Hudson, Christina Aguilera. She starred on Broadway in all shows that I've heard of. Some I've seen before she was in it. Color Purple, Motown, the musical, which I've seen.
Yeah.
A couple I haven't seen, but I've heard of. Ain't Misbehaving, the Book of Mormon. I mean, so she is really, really heavy, even though I had not heard of her. So I did reach out to her, and we did meet her, and she came on the podcast last week.
She did, yes. Yeah, that one's just come out, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's the one that's I think it's the one that's currently running. Or maybe I don't know, but in the last 2 weeks, so I was so glad to get her.
We were actually that's quite disappointed now that she wasn't on ours because she sounds like she was really good.
Yeah. My wife went to Awakenings. I didn't go to Awakenings because they had to compete with a Los Angeles Lakers basketball game. So you know what I did in that case, but my wife went to Awakenings. I did go to Bridges. Did you have Bridges?
No, we missed that one because of a meal, didn't we? So we we watched that one and you watched the other.
Yeah, it was really good. And I'm not a big show person. I go to some of the shows.
No. Did you, Paul, did you go to any of the shows that were held in Eden at all?
No, both times. I've heard they are great shows in Eden after the dinners are over. I heard they're kind of hard to get into, but I haven't gone to on either ship. I haven't gone to any of the Eden shows, other than some Eden musical performers performing while we're eating. But no, not the shows.
Yeah, they were really impressive. I mean, we actually only managed to get to one, and we got there and there was already like loads of people who'd already got their seats, and we kind of wandered up at the very aft where it kind of goes up on that ramp, and there's seats and things, isn't there, at the very aft in Eden, and we kind of thought, oh, this will be a nice quiet spot, and so we sat there, and then more people kind of joined us, but we still had a really good view, and it turned out that in the middle of the performance that was kind of almost like a focal point, wasn't it, where
I got picked out, didn't I? Remember now? Oh,
she jumped on Craig's lap, the singer at the time, and he became part of the show.
She was quite nice, actually.
Craig and Laura, there's an internet saying, photos or it didn't happen.
That's true. That's true.
I think Craig was too shocked.
I was a little bit. I was shocked, actually. Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you, I would have been. I would have been saying to my wife, "Take a photo, take a photo, take a photo."
It just happened so quickly, though, didn't it?
Yeah.
It did, but yeah, it was a good show, actually.
It was very good. Yeah. So if you ever go on again, I would say if you can catch at least one of those, because that was
very, very, very different.
I am very curious, anxious to see what, because I think that with this Edge class, Celebrity hit it out of the park. I am so curious to see what they do in the next class.
They're going to have to pull out something really special, aren't they, to up what they've already done on Edge. I think you're right, Paul. Yeah,
but they will do. I've no doubt about it. They will.
Yep. So each episode I like to ask guests about their cruising background. So discuss your first cruise together. I know. Laura went on a cruise she was very young with her mom, and I have photos all over the internet of that cruise. Well, let's talk about your first cruise together.
Well, as we said earlier, our first cruise was we'd looked at this and found this particular deal, and then it kind of got shelved a little bit for some reason, didn't it? And then another one came up where it was the San Francisco part and
Yeah,
Los
so
Angeles.
so the first package that we saw was sailing out of Los Angeles, and actually we wanted to sail out of San Francisco.
Yeah.
So that's what we ended up doing, wasn't it? It came
Yeah.
up again, and we decided to do that. And sailing out of San Francisco underneath the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, and I
was
think
amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. I think probably, Paul, that particular cruise is probably the closest to my heart because it was the first one that I'd done, and it was obviously more importantly the first one that I'd done with Laura, so it was a special time for me. And I mean, we saw as much as we was only in Hawaii for 4 days, 4 ports. They were special because of for me, we went to Pearl Harbor, so that I'm a big fanatic of World War II, so it laid very special, and on that, funnily enough, we was very lucky in Pearl Harbor, wasn't we, that day, because we'd actually got a slot booked for traveling over to the memorial and
The Arizona
Arizona,
yeah.
and it was only by chance that when we'd got in there, we saw the part where we actually went over, and I actually just went and asked and said, could we go over now, which was a few hours earlier than we'd booked, and they said, yeah, jump on here, we can take 2 more. So we went over, and as it happens, that afternoon the waters got rough, so we wouldn't have been able to go over. So we were because I would have been extremely as much as we spent all day there looking at other things. If I hadn't seen that particular part of it, I would have been extremely disappointed. So we were really lucky. But yeah, that cruise for me was the most special.
Now, what was the ship?
Grand Princess.
Grand Princess. Okay, yeah. That sounds like quite a trip. You know, the things around the trip were nice, and then of course, going to Pearl Harbor, and so Craig, that was your very first cruise, right?
It was, yeah.
Did you get hooked?
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know what she did, to be quite honest. My arm's never been the same since she had it twisted up my back to go on another one. But I have to say, Paul, putting Vegas to one side and we flew into San Francisco, I can always remember, and it sticks out in my mind, that we got there early before it was the original, or the people before us were disembarking, wasn't they? And they were coming off the ship, and we were stood there, and we met this English couple, and we went and got some coffees from a cafe around the corner, and I was just like in awe when I saw the ship. It was just like, yeah, it were amazing. And it were amazing. And to be fair, that's probably one of the smallest ships apart from Azamara we've actually been on, really, hasn't it? And that was big to us, wasn't it? I think 3,000 passengers.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, but I have to say, and I'll go back to it again, it was the most special for me because it was my first one, and it was with Laura,
and we met some lovely people on that cruise as well.
We met some amazing American people on that cruise.
And I think that
if I recall, didn't you go on a cruise subsequent to that with the people you met?
With them 2 years later. Yeah, 2017. Yeah, we met up with all 3 different couples again, or families, should we say, and we had an amazing time with them, didn't we? Yeah.
And I think that was probably because from San Francisco to Hawaii and then Hawaii back to San Francisco, you've got so many sea days, so you've got like so much time to sit and chat to people and get to know them and stuff. And I think probably because of the nature of that cruise was the reason why we probably met people like them, because else if it's port after port after port, you don't necessarily spend loads of time in one place.
Can I just quickly say, Paul, if you don't mind, that one of the couples who we met, Jim and Ren, who live in Oregon, it was strange how we met them because at the time I smoked, so I used to go up on the smoking deck, and I remember when we left San Francisco. You can cut all this out if you want. To me, it's quite interesting and quite a
Well,
big
then
part of it.
well, then it's going to stay in.
It was just so basically when we left San Francisco again, it was my first cruise, and obviously it was Laura's first cruise for a long time. We was only leaving port, wasn't we? We were going under San Francisco Bridge, and we were going out into the open waters, and we were both feeling quite sick. And I said to Laura, I don't think I can cope with this for 5 days. And we had some quick food, didn't we? And we both felt quite ill, really seasick. Yeah. Anyway, so I go up to the smoking deck and I'm having a cigarette, and I met this guy, Jim, and his wife who were smoking. And I was saying how sick we felt, and they give us some Dramamine, didn't they? Which is what you can get in the States. We can't get it anymore. We have
Really?
No, we can't. We've tried to get it from Amazon, and we cannot get it anymore. They've stopped it coming into the UK.
Wow.
And anyway, to cut a long story short, the Dramamine sorted us out. We slept well with it, didn't we? Because it was the one what was
It was the drowsy
one
version.
what made you drowsy, and yeah, we
were grateful to
we
them
were so
that
grateful, and we've been friends. We've been friends ever since. Jim and Ren are probably the closest we've been to. But yeah, lovely, great, lovely experiences.
Now, I thought you were going to say the Dramamine helped you kick cigarettes.
No, it didn't actually. I mean, I haven't smoked for 8 years. I do vape. I'll admit I do vape, but I haven't smoked for 8 years. So yeah, it's about 8 years, isn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So how soon after Grand Princess did you cruise again?
2017. That's
so
when we arranged to go with them.
18 months, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not even that, probably.
So we all met up in Fort Lauderdale, and we hired a big Airbnb house, didn't we? And we all stayed there for one night. We all met up, which were nice because we were all coming at different times because they were coming from different parts of the States.
And these were all couples you met on Grand Princess?
Uh-huh. Yeah. So we met.
So how many couples were you?
So we met two couples, which were Jim Wren and Mark and. Oh my God! Yeah, that'll come to us. Yeah, and then we met one family. Then there was a family which was a mother and two daughters. And when I say a daughter and a son, however, when I say a son and a daughter, they were older. They were probably more similar to my age. The mom was really old, and unfortunately, she's passed now, hasn't she? As the son as well, he's passed, unfortunately.
Oh wow!
Mark and Sharon.
So Mark and Sharon are from this because they've got a Christmas bauble from them, Michigan. And Jim and Ren are Oregon.
Yeah.
And Julie is from
either Kentucky or Tennessee. Is it Kentucky?
Kentucky. So yeah.
Now that's amazing. After one cruise, you stay in a Airbnb with four families.
Yeah, the four of us.
Listeners, especially listeners. There are listeners who haven't cruised yet. That's cruising for you. I doubt very much. If you went to an all-inclusive somewhere, I don't know, Jamaica, whatever, your next trip would be, Airbnb with four families that you met. It's possible, but much more likely in cruising. There's just something about being in close quarters, the conversations and the friendships, even relationships that you develop.
Yeah. Very, very sociable, isn't it? Everyone seems to be very friendly and happy to chat, aren't they?
Yeah, because they're all there for a reason, and that reason is to enjoy themselves and perhaps meet people. However, you can go on a cruise and not speak to anybody.
If you wanted, yeah.
But Laura and myself are definitely not like that. We do like to meet people and I think that's more because meeting people from such as like America, which I've always liked Americans. I'm not saying that because you are, but I just think it's interesting to have a different culture. It's like different conversation about things, yeah. Not Trump or don't get into politics.
Oh, tell me about it. But yeah, I'm the same way. My wife is fairly sociable. I'm a introvert. And
Laura is.
Yeah, I know that. And my wife, I think my wife is an introvert who can play an extrovert very well, because she's the more sociable one of us two. And I am
surprises
not
me.
looking to meet people, to be honest with you. But I know, like on Virgin Voyages, there was one couple that we met, and we had almost nothing in common. But for some reason, like every day, we got together with them. We would play games, trivia games together. I don't know. It's just something about cruising and bonding.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
and we've met some people subsequently, haven't we, on other cruises as well, and stayed in touch
with them.
social media and things. So yeah, I think
we have
it's
actually
nice.
we could mention that, could we, about what's happened about the April one?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, that's really. Are we all right to talk about it, Paul?
What's that?
The up and coming cruise that we've got in April.
Sure, you talk about it.
There's a bit of a story with that as well.
Yeah, you can talk about it. Sure.
So when we was on Celebrity Edge, we met this couple round the pool only by accident, and I don't know how it came
And
about.
it was at the Sunset Bar as well, I think, wasn't it?
It was
Yeah.
actually at the Sunset Bar, and we started chatting to her. Now they were British. There was a British couple, and they were there with the teenage son. So then we never really arranged to go for a drink with them or anything like that.
Just happened that we both seemed to kind of
Yeah,
migrate towards the
Yeah,
Sunset Bar towards the end of the afternoon.
yeah, they were northern people as well, which is probably I can get on with I can get on with anybody. Anyway, then we used to see them round the pool, and we'd have a quick chat. Anyway, as the holiday went on, they disappeared, didn't they? And I said, I've not seen Catherine or Rue for a few days, which was strange. But for some reason, we'd exchanged numbers, because obviously I'd discussed that, what Laura does with cruise lifestyle, so they were interested in that, and they're quite big cruisers with Celebrity. They've been on Beyond, and as it happens, Beyond is their favourite ship. Anyway, we come back home, and then I get a message from Catherine, and her husband Rue had a stroke, hadn't he? Was it a stroke on the ship? And that's why they disappeared. So we didn't see them again. Anyway,
we've stayed in touch.
We stayed in touch with them, and they bought themselves a pub, which were the Dream, which they're not in now. They've got rid of it, so we don't 100% know what's happened. Anyway, a few weeks ago, Laura decides that she wants to go on another cruise, and it's on Beyond, which is in April, 6 days in the Caribbean. So I just jokingly messaged Catherine and said, "Oh, look, we're going on Beyond." And she said, I'd like to do that again. I love Beyond. Last week, we get a message off her. She's only gone and booked her holidays and gone and booked Beyond. So we're meeting up with them now in April, which is really strange. It is a nice surprise, because we didn't get to know them that well, but they were really nice and friendly. So
and easygoing.
So yeah, we're going to meet them again now.
Wonderful. And he's totally recovered and all that.
Yeah, he's totally covered. It took quite a long while because he couldn't get his driving license back, and I think, to be fair, he's only had his driving license back a couple of months. And this is from quite early in the year. Well, when did we go on Edge? Was it April?
June.
So yeah.
He's relatively young to have a stroke.
Yeah,
I think probably.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna. That's a wonderful story, and you're gonna love Beyond. In fact, that might be when I have you back, just to hear what you thought. In the beginning, I talked about, Beyond was my favorite ship when I got on Ascent. Was Ascent going to surpass it? And the bottom line is no. It's just as good, but Beyond has there's a little bit of sentiment associated with Beyond, because we went on that. First of all, that was our first time in the Mediterranean. First Mediterranean cruise, and it was our 30th anniversary. And so for our 30th anniversary, we went to Fine Cut, and they bought us a cake, and they really treated us special. So in just about every aspect, Ascent and Beyond were a tie. Of course, Patrice Covington was maybe the best performance I've seen at sea, other than, theme cruises where I've seen, a lot of artists. But so I'll give a slight edge, no pun intended, to beyond because,
Get ya.
and it also was where I had the best meal I ever had. So there was just some tiny things that would break the tie, but you can't lose going on the Celebrity Edge class. I just think that is just,
No, we
that's my favorite class of ship,
really
even
like
more
it.
than Royal's Oasis class, which I love also.
I think the nice thing is that in April when we go on Beyond, we'll have actually done 3 Edge class, which is nice to be able to compare them, you know?
Yeah, and we would have gone on. The only reason why we ended up on Ascent actually in September just gone was because we had asked a few people when we were on Celebrity Edge, okay, we like this ship. What ship should we do next? And they pretty much all said Beyond. And then in the meantime, I think Beyond changed its itinerary and ended up
did.
just doing all year round in the Caribbean. And Ascent came over to the Mediterranean. And that's how we ended up on Ascent because we were looking at a particular itinerary and we're looking at Beyond and there was a switch. So actually we now get to do Beyond, which is nice.
It's cool.
So you mentioned your upcoming cruise. What else you have planned? Anything else booked?
Well, I'll let you tell them that. What your treat was?
Yeah, so it was my 40th birthday in May this year. And
Happy
Craig
birthday.
surprised me. Thank you.
Happy belated.
And Craig surprised me with a river cruise. So we're going to go. We're going to have to wait until September 2025, but it's on the Douro, which is in Portugal. It's one I've wanted to do for a while. So that is.
Which ship?
It's a new ship that's coming out next year. It's with Riviera Travel, but it is called Riviera Rose, I think.
Yeah, I think it is the Rose one, isn't it? Yeah.
They're slightly different on the Douro because of the size of the locks and things. So I think they're all slightly smaller ships than your big ones, like the Amma Waterways one that you did. Maybe slightly smaller Douro River Cruise for next year so far. So yeah.
And I think that'll probably be it, Paul, unless we win the lottery.
Well, don't say that'll be it. That sounds like that's your last cruise.
Oh, no, for next year, though, as of this minute.
Oh, okay. That'll be it for next year. It's been great getting back together with you all, and great having you on, Craig. You weren't on the first time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
But before we let you go, Craig, we always, well, you know, because you listen to the podcast, but we always end with some light questions, some fun questions. We change them up a little bit when someone's on for the second time. So since this is Laura's second time, we know a lot of cruise lifestyle fans and followers are listening, or we hope they are listening. And so our questions for second-time guests are more intended for your fans and followers and my listeners to kind of get to know you better. So I asked some different questions, but one of the questions I previously asked you, Laura, was about your favorite cruise drinks and food. So I still want to know, have you discovered anything new that you want to recommend? Somebody recommended, and I feel so bad because I can't remember who did it, but someone recommended a drink for me on Celebrity Ascent, and the drink was called the Beyond. So I was thinking, well, it probably is only available on Beyond. So I went to bars asking for this drink, and most of the time they looked at me like I was crazy. Then one said, try the Sunset Bar. And sure enough, I went up to the Sunset Bar, and they immediately knew what I was talking about. And it was delicious. And it was called the Beyond.
Ooh.
So
What was in it?
it was coconut. It was and I love pina coladas. Okay. I love painkillers. I love anything coconut. But this was different than a painkiller. This was just a
painkiller.
Yeah, have you not heard of that?
No.
Oh, Craig's not heard of painkiller.
Oh, well, hello. I'll have to try that one.
Oh yeah, get that. If you like pina coladas, think of painkiller as a pina colada without the frozen slush. Yeah, it's still pineapple and coconut. But anyway, have you discovered any new drinks or foods you want to recommend to me?
Well, actually, one that we did discover at the Sunset Bar. It's not really a new drink as
It's not.
such,
I know what
but
you're going to
it's
say.
yeah, and you really liked it,
I
didn't
did.
you?
I
So
did.
there was one lady who worked behind the bar, and her thing was doing like a half and half with a strawberry daiquiri and a mango daiquiri.
Daiquiri.
So it would be in one glass, but it'd be the two. But she would do it in like a swirl, so it would look really, really pretty as well. So although it's not like a new
Very
drink
nice.
as such, it was
Yeah.
very, very tasty on a hot day.
A couple of more questions so your fans can get to know you a little better. Each of you, what's playing these days in your Bluetooth speaker, your headphones, or however you consume music?
Oh well, I mean, I have to say, Paul, I'm a massive, massive music fan. It's the first when I go to do a job, it's the first thing I put on my Bluetooth speaker. I cannot function without music.
I'm the same way.
So yeah, so I mean, one of my top. I mean, I've got quite a few bands. My favourite band, which I go back to the ska days from being at school, and I've always been a ska fan. So obviously, I don't know if you've heard of the band Madness. Okay. So yeah, I've just booked tickets to go and see them for the 6th time last year. So they're quite big on mine. You must Google them or YouTube them. Madness, dead easy.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the
Yeah,
Specials?
yeah. I'm a Simply
Yeah.
Red.
So again, they're big. So they're all big on my playlist. But I do like a mixed genre of music. So like Simply Red, Queen, George Michael. So yeah, I've got a mixed bag.
I'm a Simply Red fan, George Michael fan.
Yeah.
So, how about you, Laura?
Well, I am not someone who would naturally put on music. I much prefer. You're shaking your head no.
I drive her mad with it.
It doesn't have to be music. You listen to
I love
podcasts. You listen to
I-
audiobooks.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be music.
No, I mean, I would say if you ever did make it to the Latin party that they hold on celebrity cruise ships, like that Latin music is something that I love that. Like I love going to Zumba classes and things. So I love all that music because it like just makes you want to get up and dance. So I like that type of music. But on a day-to-day basis, I would say I will listen to podcasts on my way to and from work, and then I'll also every night I'll pop my headphone in before I go to sleep, and I'll listen to some podcasts as well. So, but that is varied. So it depends what mood I'm in. I listen to stuff about entertainment, about films, about TV programs I'm watching, politics, anything. So it's all.
What's the last live event
Madness.
that you both attended? I could just answer madness to everything.
And Madness next year, yeah. Yeah, so now that's another one that you've got to YouTube is Madness. You've got to see what it's all about. Maybe not your cup of tea, but I remember telling the couples who we met on our first 2015 cruise, Jim, because obviously we were plenty of time. I discussed it with him. He YouTubed him, and he quite liked him actually. So there you go. Yeah.
So we kind of alluded to this earlier. It sounds like you guys like movies. What's the last movie you've seen?
Last night.
So yeah, we watched a movie last night. It was called Lee. I don't know if it's been.
What was it called?
It was called Lee.
LEE.
Yeah, and it was a true story based on a photographer called Lee Miller.
Female.
And,
She's
she was a female photographer. She was originally a model, and she moved to become a photographer. And this was during World War II. And she actually managed to get over to France from the UK. And she was from the US originally, but she ended up in France, and she was on the front line, and she was taking photos of things that were happening there and then. And she ended up going to some of the death camps, didn't she?
Yeah. And took a bath in Hitler's bath.
And she was the one that took a bath in Hitler's bath. Yeah.
So if you Google that, yeah.
Wow.
Very interesting.
Well, I love true stories.
So what's your favorite movie of all time?
Well, we was having this discussion last night. So mine's probably one of the best is Saving Private Ryan for me.
Oh.
But can I do a slash series?
I love Saving Private Ryan.
And then slash series is definitely Band of Brothers.
You know, I started watching Band of Brothers, and I never finished it.
What?
What's your favorite of all time, Laura?
Well, I like I said, I like true stories, but if it was going to be something that wasn't, and I know that this is going to be aired in January, but I feel like we're on the run up to Christmas at the moment, and I really, really like no, not The Holiday, Love Actually.
Love Actually.
Yeah.
Oh.
Love Actually is just could watch that over and over again.
Can I mention, Paul, one of my favourite Christmas movies? In fact, it is my best Christmas movie, and that's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Surely you've seen that one.
Absolutely. I've seen the whole series, but that's the best.
Yeah.
None of them can compare to that one.
Yeah.
But you know what? You sound like we have a similar sense of humor, Craig. Watch Bad Santa.
Oh, I've seen it. It's brilliant. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What about
Okay,
Step
yeah.
Brothers
You know, I haven't seen it.
with Will Ferrell in it?
Although it's
That's
it's
that's a
in my
real funny
genre
film.
of screwed up comedy.
Yeah, we'd probably talk for hours, Paul, if we were together about films and movies.
Yep. Maybe I should have another podcast and just get movie fans together. You know what? I asked this question, as I said, to repeat guests. There's one movie I've asked people what their favorite movie is, and 3 people have said it now, and so I did have to watch it. Called Interstellar.
No.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Yes. Oh, is that the one where he's stuck on the moon or something?
It's in space, isn't
It's in
it?
space, yeah.
Yeah. He starts off here, and it's in the future, and yeah.
Was it
So
good? Was it with 3 people chose it as their favorite? Would you say it was a good one?
it was a good one, but I wouldn't put it up there with one of my
Yes,
one of my favorites.
Yeah, I've just Googled it now. I have watched it. Yeah, I agree with you, Paul. It was an half-decent film, but it most certainly would never even reach my top 10.
Yep.
Sorry. Can I put you on the spot, Paul?
Sure.
Right. Now here's one for you. A couple of questions. If you was on death row, what would your last meal be?
Lobster.
Right.
That's
Okay.
a good answer.
That is a good answer. Dessert.
White chocolate bread pudding from New Orleans.
Oh, wow. Wow. Place I'd like to go. Next question is, if you had 1 hour and you had to have an interview with somebody who's passed, who would that be with?
You know, I hate it. Yeah, it's a tie. I don't know that
And
I
not
can
a relative.
differentiate between, so I'm going to give you 2. One, I had not an interview, but I had a conversation with when he was alive. But it was under very special circumstances. So the 2 people are Dr. Martin Luther King
Where?
and Muhammad Ali.
Wow, Mohammed. Wow.
And
They're
so
good ones.
So Muhammad Ali,
good
believe it or not, I actually did have a conversation with him for, it was about 25 minutes. Long story, but you got me started, so I got to tell the story. A short story, but the background. My brother was a boxer, but he was more. He had a very short-lived career, but he had a long career behind the scenes in boxing, and he did business with Muhammad Ali's manager, and so he knew Muhammad Ali. And so many years ago, I got very ill, like deathly ill. And he arranged, when I was recovering, he arranged for Muhammad Ali to call me.
Wow.
Of course, he didn't tell me that. So I answered the phone, and my wife just said it's my brother on the phone, because my brother rang us up. But then by the time she handed me the phone, it was Ali.
Wow.
And so I had a conversation with Muhammad Ali. I could hardly make out what he was saying, because, to be honest with you, in the latter part of his life, he was really soft-spoken and slurring his speech. But one thing I made out, and I actually wrote about this. I have a book about me getting ill, and I wrote the story in the book. And he said, "I'll say a prayer for you." And how many people can say that Muhammad Ali said, I'll say a prayer for you.
Yeah,
you know.
special.
Good story. So that was
so-
a good question I asked you, though, wasn't it, Paul?
Yeah. That's an easy one for me to answer.
But I've only got one. I've only got one more for
Go
you.
ahead.
If you like music, which I think you do,
Absolutely.
and they took away every artist apart from one, where you could choose one artist that you would have to listen to for the rest of your life, who would it be?
Prince.
Wow. Do you know what? You answered that quick. I've seen Prince live.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's dead now, but yeah, I saw Prince live many, many, many years ago. Very
Yeah,
good.
I saw him.
You quick answered then,
I
Paul.
think I saw his last concert. I saw him in New Orleans, and
Wow.
and it wasn't that long after that concert that he passed. And I don't know if he did another show after that concert. I just want to keep up with you guys and see what you're up to. So I'm sure we'll talk again in 25. So
It's always nice to chat and always good to listen to everyone else that comes on the podcast.
Yeah, very interesting. And next time I'll have some more quick fire questions.
yeah, I kind of like those. So as I like to say, we'll see you on the ocean.
We will. Happy sailing.
The Joy of Cruising and Cruising Interrupted, each $16.99 plus shipping, and new release, The Joy of Cruising Again for $18.99 can be ordered at the link on thejoyofcruisingpodcast.com. For each of the 3 books, use the discount code Joy of Cruising Podcast and get $4 off. The Joy of Cruising books are also available at Amazon. Order the ebook at Amazon or your favorite online retailer. Stay in touch by joining the Joy of Cruising Podcast Facebook group or following the Joy of Cruising Podcast on Instagram. We're constantly adding new shows. Please leave a review and tell a friend about us. We hope you enjoyed this brief escape to the ocean. See you next week.